Hey, Natasha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I really wanted to talk to you today about your book, but before we get into that, tell the audience a little bit about yourself for those people who don't know you.
Sure. So my name is Natasha Sattler. I call myself an unintentional author because that was something that came up in quarantine. I was raised on the East Coast outside Washington, D.C. I went to the University of Central Florida in Orlando. I've been in LA for 10 years somehow. And I make broadcast commercials as my day job. Like I am a producer. Right now, I'm a head of production in the post production world for commercials, TV, some independent feature films, but mostly like the commercial music video world.
Wow, that's a weird, different broadcast, I guess,
Ye
from
Yeah, and then all of a sudden quarantine happened, I got stuck inside and I was like, "You know what? I think I gotta write a book." And so I did.
nice. Yeah, I did the same thing with the podcast. I'd always talked about it, but never actually started it. And then quarantine, hit, I was like, I got to do something. So it took me another year to actually do it, but now we're
Yeah.
here.
I love that. I love that people took those leaps during that time. I had never thought about writing a book before. It literally came up and then I just went and did it.
So let's talk about the book. It's called Let's Talk About the Shit We Didn't Learn in School. And I think that's like a perfect title because we didn't
Oh,
learn
the
anything in
title is
school.
actually so the title is Shit Adults Never Taught Us. So it's
Hmm.
actually more than what we didn't learn in school. It's what we didn't learn at all as children. I can give you a quick breakdown, but Shit Adults Never Taught Us is it's 98 chapters, which sounds very overwhelming
Yeah.
until you realize that every chapter is like 2 pages, maybe 3 pages. And it's broken out into 4 sections. So there's career, which encompasses money as well,
Hmm.
relationship, mind, which is like mental health, and then life, which is like everything we go through, but we can't quite navigate. And so it's way beyond school. Like, yeah, the career and money stuff, like, I didn't pay attention when they taught me that stuff in school. And then it's beyond what they even could have taught me. There's no way they could have taught me how to invest in the stock market with a phone app because when I was in school, there wasn't a phone app. Or
Right.
they tried to teach me taxes, maybe they tried 401ks, but nobody ever talked to me about negotiating a salary or a raise. They
Mhm.
taught me how to balance my checkbook, and Capital One does that for me. I don't actually think a lot of what was taught in terms of money and personal finances was useful. And in terms of career, it was practically nothing. It was you have a career day, you see the options, which are so minimal to what's actually out there, and nobody taught me like how to really do anything. The relationship stuff is everything through the entire course of a relationship, from having the courage to fall in love and finding the right person to learning to fight when you're in the relationship to surviving a breakup. It also encompasses relationship with parents, siblings, making friends as an adult, things outside of romantic relationships. And then mind is everything mental health, from depression, anxiety, everything you can think of, even the undiagnosed sort of just smaller things that impact our mental health. And then life is everything else. So protecting your privacy, traveling, how to just get involved in your community, and every little life hack that I've discovered up until this point.
That's awesome. And it's almost exactly the same as the categories of this podcast. The only thing that I have differently is physical health, and I group that with mental health. But the whole premise of having a balanced life is something that I think our generation is really good at prioritizing, maybe more so than
Yeah.
previous generations. But
Well, had
so,
to get really good at it because
mhm,
previous generations, it was built into their lifestyle. You left your office, you came home, nobody could reach you. You couldn't do
right.
anything at home. There was no work at home. There was, oh, I would like to go prioritize my finances. Oh, I can't, the bank is closed. Like everything was in that way. Now
Mhm.
everything blends together and you're reachable 24/7 and everything's available 24/7, that you have to set those boundaries for yourself or you will burn out by 30.
So what is the technical like age range or maturity level audience? Because to your point, I agree. Like in high school, if somebody taught me about taxes and budgeting, like
I
I'd
wouldn't listen to it.
maybe work a Chick-fil-A job that pays $7 an hour. I'm not
Yeah.
going to budget that. That's not enough to budget.
Yeah, I think that's the main downfall of the title is Should Adult Summer Taught Us sounds like something you would give like an 18-year-old. And you definitely can, but I promise you a lot of it's going to go over their head because they probably aren't ready for it. It's more for the 20s and 30s, the people who have done some shit and are struggling and are like, how is all of my friends, everyone around me, everyone else has seemed to figure this out, and I feel left out, like I haven't figured it out. So it's more answering the questions that you're too afraid to ask, but you have to reach an age where you know what those questions are. I also say that there isn't really a demographic because especially the relationship or the mental health stuff, like that can creep in anytime. And if you're in a relationship and you read a certain chapter, then you get out of that relationship, you get into a different relationship, you could read the exact same chapter in a totally different way because that is the way that life works. Like your mindset, your like the way you're coming at this is going to be different from your circumstances. So your circumstances are never going to be the same as you move through life.
Yeah, it's because your mindset changes. The person you are changes because of the relationships you've experienced, because of everything else that you've experienced in life changes you along the way. So you see things in a different light. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. But the insecurities, like everybody has them. Some people refuse to admit that they do. Some people are overly aware and let them affect other relationships, whether that be familial, whether that be their intimate relationships. How do you first admit and understand your own insecurities and then not let it get in the way?
Well, so you're going to bring it into different relationships until you address it.
Mhm.
There's no way to avoid taking a relationship, planting the common denominator, which is you, into a different relationship and not bringing stuff along unless it's addressed and healed and worked through. So, my number one right there is heal properly after every breakup. If you, and this is for romantic, but I'm not saying just for romantic. If you have a friendship end, if you have a fight with a family member and you've cut off contact, before you move forward in your life, before you meet any new person or get into any new thing, like people do drastic things after breakups. Sometimes they
Mhm.
move or change their hair or whatever. And that's not healing. Healing is addressing the things that are coming up for you, what you think about when you're still awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like all the things that you have to address and heal need to be dealt with before you enter into any new relationship. And a lot of people I know have broken up with somebody and they're like, I'll just find somebody new. The best way to get over somebody is to find somebody new. You're like, well, everything you just went through, you're bringing with you to the
Right.
next thing. And then you're going to gather new things because that person's going to have their own shit. And so you're just compiling. You're just basically hoarding and collecting everyone's baggage and taking ownership of it as your own.
So how do you take a step back and I'm not going to date anymore. I'm not going to pursue another relationship until I figure myself out because that's a big
Yeah.
stand for a lot of people.
So there's a number of different ways. The first I think is easily therapy. And if you're not one that likes to go to therapy, meditation or writing or anything cathartic, because what's happening is it's stuck in your head. The
Mhm.
thoughts, the anger, whatever it was towards the end of the relationship is playing on a reel in a loop in your head. And until it stops playing, until it has no emotional connection anymore. If you hear a song come on the radio that reminds you of a certain person and you just
Mhm.
a visceral reaction, you get angry, you haven't healed from that. Like if you see something in a store and it still reminds you and you like start to tear up, that is proving to you that you haven't healed from that. So until those moments go away and there's no emotional connection when you listen to those songs, when you think about that person, whatever it may be, as long as you're completely emotionally neutral, then I think it's okay to move on. But you have to work through the thoughts, the emotional connection, anything that just your body reacts to when you're triggered by whatever it was in that at the end of that relationship. And once you move forward from that, there is no one answer because everybody's different. So just anxiety doesn't look the same in every person. Depression doesn't look the same in every person. Healing doesn't look the same in every person. And it's not going to look the same in you for every circumstance. You may have healed one way from a breakup and then the next breakup hits you a little differently. And it may not work. All the same things like ice cream doesn't always work. Dancing it off doesn't always work. So that's why I have a very long chapter in the book about healing and surviving those breakups is because I list out a bunch of different things to try. Same is true with the mental health sections. For anxiety, for depression, I list out very different techniques, being like, this doesn't always work for everybody. This doesn't always work. Just try them all and see which one does.
Yeah, I think it's really important is to try out things. We talked about that in a previous episode with Ryan Hawk about just trying something for 2 weeks and then journaling and figuring out, does this really impact? Does it not? And then you can try something else. A lot of people I feel like either want the instant gratification or, hey, this didn't work after 2 days. Why not? Am I doing something wrong? Is this not working? Let me just go on to something else. But it's really
Yeah.
important to take a step back and give it time to see if it'll actually work or not.
You just brought up something really great, which is journaling and
Mhm.
taking a step back. I think those two things have to go hand in hand. So when we break up with somebody or we move on from any part of our life,
Mhm.
whether it be we leave a job or whatever, we tend to focus on that thing and the negatives, right, of that
Mhm.
thing, but we tend to focus on that thing. So when you break up with somebody, you're like, they did this and they did this and they did this. That's not what I want you to write down. I want you to take a journal and write down the things about the relationship that you didn't like, not the person. You can write the things about the person that you didn't like, and that's fine because that will tell you what you don't want in your next partner. But
Right.
writing things about the relationship are going to show you patterns to recognize in the next relationship. Or if this is a pattern that you've had in previous relationships, things you need to address. If you're constantly seeing something, you're like, hey, that actually is something I don't like about a lot of the relationships I've been in, then that's something you have to address. The same is true for career. And I'm sure
Mhm.
you've talked about this. If you leave a job and you enter a new job and then you're like, oh, this one is just as shitty. And then you leave that one and you enter the new job and you're like, God, this one is just as shitty. What about the job is shitty? Because it can't
Yep.
just be like every job in the world is shitty. What
Right.
about the job is shitty? And if the common denominator is you, what about you isn't right for those jobs? Is it that this isn't the career that you want? Or is it, I'm not meant to be in an office? I'm not meant to work in this role. I'm not meant to do data entry or I need to do something more creative. Like I need to work in a team. I need to work more independently. What is it about the job and what is it even before you quit? Go day to day and just notice the moments that, because they happen immediately. Moments in your day where you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be the moment, and the moment happens immediately. So
Yep.
you can just be like, oh, I'm having this thought. What just happened? Oh, I just got off another Zoom call. Okay, I get fatigued by constant meetings. I need to
Mhm.
find a job with more autonomy, and then you'll find your path to happiness. But just doing the same thing over and over again, thinking I could pick myself up and put myself in a brand new building, it's not as
Yeah.
shiny and nice as everyone thinks it.
I agree. Sometimes change is good in changing your environment, but if you're changing just the environment and everything else is the same, yeah, eventually you're going to run into the same roadblocks and the same things of why you wanted to leave. But I
Yeah.
think what some people maybe struggle with is figuring out what they truly want, or being alone with their thoughts so that they can journal. A lot of people
Yeah.
need constant kind of communication, constant, they're not introspective enough to take a step back and look at their own thoughts. They need to go, for example, to have lunch with somebody. They feel uncomfortable going out
Yeah.
alone. They can't go to the movies alone. They can't do the things they want because they feel like they need other people around them. They're not comfortable in their own presence and their own thoughts. How would you recommend somebody get over that? Let's call it a fear or maybe an
Yeah.
insecurity or an anxiety inducing event.
So there's a chapter in the book about taking yourself on a you date, and it's small
Mhm.
steps. So something you love and you enjoy and you're
Mhm.
comfortable with. So if you love going to the theater and seeing shows, but you're like, I can't go see a Broadway show by myself, that would be insane. Go see your friend's local theater show, because then you're sitting in the audience of somebody you know, and afterwards
Mhm.
you know you're going to go see them and you're going to go to dinner. If you're having drinks with a friend later, take yourself to dinner first. That's just like an hour by yourself, knowing you have an out. I like when I go to dinner, I like to sit at the bar. I can talk to the bartender, but
Mhm.
I'm alone. And if I want to be alone, I need to choose to be alone. That bartender is going to be fine if I don't talk to them. Their day is
Right.
completely the same. But I sometimes like that out. If doing those things, if going out to eat is too much for you, go on a walk. Just
Mhm.
go on a walk for half an hour. No phone, no music, no nothing. Just go for a walk. If that's too much, go sit in a park.
Mhm.
Baby steps, there's always baby steps. Sometimes eating out is too much for a person going to a restaurant, but taking a sandwich from a deli and sitting on a park bench isn't. So
Right.
do that a couple of times until you can progress. And then maybe it's eating in the deli
Mhm.
and you're just doing lunch. And then eventually you will get there. Everyone
Yeah.
gets there. Everything you've done in your whole life has been new at some point. This is just another new thing.
Yeah, absolutely love that. For me, it was I started on the drives. I used to always listen to music originally, and then it became podcasts. And then I went through a stretch where I was just like, I'm not going to listen to anything, and I'm just going to unwind from the day. It's like a 45-hour drive, 45-minute an hour drive home.
I
And that was
love
when I was
that.
alone with my thoughts. Yeah. And then it gets
Yeah.
to a point where, yeah, you can go out to lunch, you can go out to movies alone. Like, I'm not going to wait for other people. If I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. Hiking, things that I love doing that you put off because you want to be in the company of others, but maybe they don't like that thing. And you're stopping yourself from doing things that you like because of that insecurity or anxiety, the inducing thing by
I
just doing
do
it
the
alone.
I do the exact same thing. I
Yeah.
drive home with I've got about a 40-minute drive. I drive home without any music on sometimes, although
Mhm.
sometimes then I start I don't know, this is just really a me thing. You guys are getting some insight into me. But sometimes if the car is too quiet and I'm in traffic, I start thinking my car is like broken because I hear noises I've never heard before.
Right.
So sometimes I put rain sounds on and I make it sound like it's raining outside, which
Nice.
can be trippy because you're driving and it's perfectly sunny. But there is something very calming about rain sounds, and there's also nothing lyrical, there's no music, so you don't have
Mhm.
to focus on the words or sing along or listen to podcasts. You don't have to pay attention really. You
Yeah.
pay attention to the driving. The rain is just happening and your thoughts, they are going to happen no matter what. They come
Right.
no matter what. You can't stop them.
Yeah, and I love that idea of you going to the bar as well as a next level progression. But I think the gold standard, maybe that's where something you picked up or something that was a life goal, that solo traveling. I've
Yeah.
done it a little, and I'm planning actually by the time this episode gets released to be out on a few month long, maybe a few year long journey, but
Ooh, where are you going?
all over the world really. Start in Europe and then go
Perfect.
wherever the world takes me. But you've started solo traveling, and that's like the highest level because you're alone, sometimes in a brand new city, sometimes in a brand new country. Maybe you don't even know the language, and it's all you, and you have to rely
Yeah.
on yourself. How did you build up there, or was it
Oh,
one of
very
those
slow.
very slow? Okay, so it wasn't just I'm gonna do it and then come
No.
back down and figure out everything else.
So, solo traveling for me was accidental at
Really?
times. But yeah, like you plan a trip with friends and then the friends bail and you're like, well, I guess I'm going alone. But for me, I did it really slow. My
Okay.
first few trips were Saturday and Sunday in Seattle, and I listed so many things, more things than
Hmm.
I could ever actually accomplish.
Yep.
So I would be like, I have 2 full days. I have my hotel, and I would bring a map. Like literally, I would print out the map of my hotel and I would mark little things of where to go, or I would list them out on my phone. And I'm telling you, I listed like 25 things I wanted to do. And this was purely just an anxiety mechanism where I would never be bored. I would never be just sitting alone with my I would never be bored.
Hmm.
Fun fact, your thoughts come up no matter what. So when you're
Hmm.
walking between the various locations, when you're even when you're standing in line, like you're standing in line at the Space Needle in Seattle, you're still like lonely. Loneliness
Hmm.
happens. You're
Yep.
gonna get lonely. It's more embracing it. And I started to like it because when
Hmm.
you're lonely at home, the thoughts that creep in are, oh, I should go out to dinner. Oh, I should call that friend. Oh, I should go watch this TV show. All of the routine things disappear because you can't do any of that. So if you're out, so commit to it. And
Yep.
when you start committing when you're like solo traveling, and I mean it very slowly, like one weekend somewhere, I would go and hike in Utah and I would literally, I think, list like a dozen hikes that would take the average person 7 or 8 days. But I
Yeah.
would like and make you very sore and are not actually accomplishable. But I would take them and then I would be like, okay, this is the hike I'm doing. This is the guided tour I'm doing. This is the art museum I'm doing. And you just group them all together. I would bring the map so I would group them all together so that I could walk between the places. Neighborhoods, your
Hmm.
mind gets the relaxation it needs and it becomes addictive and you build up to it and then suddenly you find yourself wandering markets in Marrakesh.
Nice. I think that's perfect like analogy when you overplan things to do on vacation just so that you feel like you're in control of the situation and
Yeah.
okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do, but you got to value your alone time and that's a step I think that you've learned obviously being able to just do wherever it seems to be comfortable with. Where do you look most to re-energize yourself now when you're alone with your thoughts and when you're able to just decompress or process?
That's a really good question. To re-energize is that are you thinking like to heal or are you thinking to feel more like me or what to you is re-energizing? Because so
Say
many
it's
times.
yeah, I agree. I think it's more like either healing process of something that you just went through or just like decompressing from a busy day or a long day or a long week and then being okay, I'm ready for the next step. So either way I view as re-energizing.
End of a long day for me is outside. I need fresh air. And I think a lot of that is I spend so much of the day, like a lot of people, in front of a screen that it's more a physical break. I don't know about you guys, but we're working from home and working from
Mhm.
home blurs all the lines that have ever existed in human life.
Right.
So exiting whatever room you've worked wherever, if it's the couch, if it's your bedroom, wherever, because all the lines are blurred, exiting that room, closing the door, and if you have no doors, literally closing the door to outside, and then just stand. We
Mhm.
probably didn't stand very much today. You probably didn't go outside very much today. You probably didn't not look at a screen. So just stand. Don't bring your phone. Just stand or sit outside on a patio set or take a walk. And I like doing things that have no purpose.
Mhm.
So I don't need it to have an end goal. I'm not like, okay, in 10 minutes, I'm going to feel so refreshed. No,
Yeah.
I'm going to stand there until I feel better. In terms of next chapters, I need to always assess why, like, why is this next chapter happening? And then expectations. And a lot of that does come into traveling. Like, travel is a fantastic way to close a book because it gives you those retrospective moments. If you're not comfortable with solo travel, or if you're not comfortable with travel at all, just going somewhere that's different than what you live in the mountains, go to the beach. You live in one town, go to a different town. And I don't mean you have to go for a whole weekend. You can literally just go shopping one afternoon in a different town, or go to lunch, go to dinner, like we were saying, take yourself
Mhm.
out to a different town, because it'll mark it in your brain as this was when things transitioned. Because if you just keep living the same life and doing the same things, it's all going to blur together and you're going to feel this constant need of change. I always equate it to like wanting to move your house and then redecorating a room. Like when if you redecorate a room, you didn't actually move and you didn't really change what you needed to change. So keep the expectations and what you're truly looking for, like we were talking about earlier. If you just keep moving jobs and you're just moving jobs to move jobs, really analyze it before you do it. And that comes from taking a step back and really looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's not like having goals, but not having a necessarily like a set in stone routine every single day. Like I'm a routine person, so naturally I'm always going to be routinized, but I
Yeah.
try to find ways to break it, whether it be like you said, going to a different gym, even going to someplace different, even though it's part of your routine, it's a new environment. And that helps you break the cycle. Oh, okay, this is different. And then you get to
Yeah.
stick back and reflect more, I think. For those who,
You can build in ways to break your routine. I'm a routine
Mhm.
person too, but I like to build in ways to break my routine. So I have friends that like every other Saturday or something, last year, I think, or 2 years ago, it was like every other Saturday, we'd go and try a new restaurant. So there's a routine going out to dinner with the same friends every other Saturday. But the
right.
thing that's different is the restaurant. So it's like you're breaking a routine within your routine.
Not,
You can be like, you know what, on Fridays, I don't look at my phone after 6. That is a different thing than the other 6 days of the
Mhm.
week, but it's built into your routine. There are ways to take small steps. Everybody feels like change is this giant, like I have to blow up my whole life. You can if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would start small.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole premise. Like, even with 98 chapters in your book, everything being small, bite sized,
Yeah.
yet they resonate is like the overarching theme of your work here. And
Yeah.
so, got you to that realization to be like, okay, I know I want to eventually change. I know I want to learn these things, but too much at one time is going to throw me away. So, I got to figure out
Oh,
how to
yeah.
bite size them.
Oh, I have that really awesome combination of ADD and anxiety. So I am constantly like, I'm anxious and I need to do something, but I'm distracted by 5 different things that I want to do all at once. And so I have to like really zero myself in, make myself plan something. So that is where it stemmed from. And the reason that the book is 98 chapters and written so quickly is because it's written for how I read. If I bought all of those books and put them on my bookshelf, like all 98 of the topics of that book, I would
Mhm.
never make it through. I would
Right.
never read all of those books. I would probably read about 2 or 3 chapters of each and then I would put it down and I would forget about it. I also have checklists in the back of about half of the chapters because I have a tendency to read the book, put it down, think I'm a changed human, and then actually change nothing in my life. So the actionable items is something I also need. The anxiety, the reason I have to change things in those small increments is the anxiety is going to stop me from actually changing. Like you said about your podcast, I will think about it for years and then talk myself out of it. And I will tell myself, you can't do it. Why would you do it? Who's going to listen to you? And then if I don't do the small increments, if I don't go, I don't have to release a podcast today. Today, I'm just
Mhm.
going to make the logo. Today, I'm just going to book a guest and record an episode. Maybe we never release it. I don't know. And then eventually, you just do the small steps. The small step of, okay, today I'm just going to edit one of the episodes. Today, I'm going to put it up there. You will eventually release the podcast, but the idea of releasing the podcast, the idea of writing a book, the idea of changing your jobs, finding the perfect relationship, moving a city, whatever it is, that's insane. That's so big. It's too
Mhm.
big. So you got to break it down into the small things. And if you are an anxious AD person like me, that's the only way to do it.
No, I totally agree because it helps, the best way to eat elephants one bite at a time type thing. It
Yeah.
a lot of the cliches I found in life are actually true. It's just we were either too young to realize it or nah, I could do it better. And then you realize, nah, probably not. It's there for a
W-
reason.
can do it better and we should do it better, but the cliches are a jumping off point because there's a
Yeah,
reason they exist.
exactly. Exactly. Where would you recommend people like go if they like to listen via books or podcasts or audiobooks or YouTube, different channels that you've learned as well? What would you recommend to the audience?
I find it really hard to recommend things because I find that the things I recommend work really well for some people and don't work for others. So I think social media is a great way to find tools that you like. The library, I love the library. I'm still a member. If you get a book and you don't like it, return it. It's
Yeah.
free. It's awesome. They also have audiobooks at a lot of libraries. They have audiobooks for free and they have apps that you can borrow. I think LinkedIn Classes used to be lynda.com. It's now
Mhm.
LinkedIn Classes. Lets
Mhm.
you try things. I think it's still for free. So if you're a LinkedIn member, you can be like, I want to try video editing. I want to try writing. I want to try. And they let you take like a class to see if you like it before you start buying all the things to try
Yeah.
certain tasks. And I think beyond learning and knowledge, YouTube has unlimited content,
Mhm.
libraries has unlimited content. Finding the thing that like fuels your soul and really ignites you is the more important thing. There's enough content out there to learn anything you want to learn.
Oh,
It's overwhelming.
that is very true. Information, and we're in the information age where there's a
Yeah.
billion different ways to find stuff. It's just trying out the things that you want to and figuring out what you don't want to, and then applying that and just keep it going until, okay, this is something I actually truly like versus, oh, it was just a passing interest that is
Yeah.
no longer a thing.
Yep.
So, Natasha, I really appreciate your time, and I learned a lot from this conversation. Fellow solo travelers always help to connect,
I'm
but
so excited for your journey.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Me as well. That's actually the first time I shared it on this podcast too. Is because
Oh,
you also do it, so it's good.
everyone's
Good.
going to go look for you now.
Exactly. How can people find you when you're not traveling?
Yeah, so the book Shit Adults Never Taught Us is on Amazon, Barnes& Noble, Apple Books, Google Play Books, anywhere you want to buy a book, that's where it is. At Shit Adults Never Taught Us on Instagram or the website shitadultsnevertaughtus.com. Or if they just want to find me, I'm on Instagram at NatSatTravels.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll definitely put all those in the show notes, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.